Hey, what is going on, guys? I have another brand new Mechatro kit out in the line from Hasegawa. This is the Chubu 01. As you can tell, it's got a little bit different box art from usual as well too. I mean, it's cool, got this kind of retro Tamiya style box art, really reminds me of that, but I do definitely kind of miss the usual very cartoony style box art that we see on Mechatro kits usually. But this design of the mecha kit anyway does seem really cool. This design, I believe, had been previously available as a resin kit, I want to say, but this is the first time that it's actually been produced as a plastic model kit. So just like with the other 1/35 scale Mechatro kits, it is a pack of 2 in here, so you got them in 2 different colors that you can build. And as usual, it's adorable, and I think it's just going to be a lot of fun to build. So let's go ahead and check it out. So let's take a look at the box art here. It's a really nice painted image there, like a Tokyo at sunset, and I'm not sure if, I mean, it has the kind of retro look, especially with this kind of whatever you would call that kind of 3-wheel motorcycle truck kind of thing there in the background. And just the general way people are dressed seems kind of like 80s kind of Tokyo or something like that, or even older possibly. But anyway, the mecha design definitely fits that kind of 50s, 60s sort of look of, like, I don't know, just the aesthetic that definitely looks older anyway, right? So it's the Light Weight Mechatrobot there, number 1, 1/35 scale and all that here on this end of the box. Just got an image of the light kind of blue version of that, and then on the opposite side of the box you got the opposite version of that. So here on this side, just making a note of the easy assembly. Everything's snap fit. You shouldn't need any glue, maybe for a couple of the small bits, possibly, but we'll see here. So it makes 2 in opposite colors there. So it comes with a tow truck that can also be in a box state, and it can carry Mechatro Ego sold separately. So that's really cool. Number one, that it comes with that accessory, but also I'm just now noticing, I mean, just all the English on the box. It's not, I think, not all of the Mechatro kits have had English on the box as far as I can remember. So that's cool. So there you go. It says in 1957. Yeah, so it is meant to be in that older time. Yeah, so definitely much older than the 80s. I don't know why I was thinking 80s. I mean, that's definitely way older. Anyway, a robot that is used in our daily lives like a car. It's a Mechatrobot designed by imagining such a fantasy world. Yeah, very cool. Around here on the other side of the box, just some advertisements basically for some other Mechatro kits in the line, some other 1/35 scale sets, 120 scale, the Mechatro Chunk, the Mechatro Mate, so there's all those, and yeah. Moderythm there, Kazushi Kobayashi. If you guys are on Twitter, I definitely recommend following him. He's the designer who designs all this Mechatro stuff. He's always posting some cool new stuff about new Mechatro products and things coming out. So if you guys are into this stuff, definitely give him a follow there on Twitter. So inside here, we'll take a look at all the runners in just a moment. Let's just go ahead and check out the manual, which has a nice big image there of that box art once again. Very nice. It says box art is by Shin Ueda. I'm not sure if he's also on Twitter or anything, but probably. Around here on the back of the manual, just a nice big image there of the painted up build, looking very nice. And then you can see like the kind of cockpit section there, the operating section. You have a color guide down here at the bottom there also, it looks like, and then it folds out. You can see there's the other color version and the kind of pilot figure, as it were, just the character figure we've got included with this here. This lady is also included. We'll have pieces to put her together as well. Just like with the other Mechatro kits, they always usually come with some human figure as well. We do have our parts list here as well on the color pages, and the start of the instruction, and then the rest of the construction just kind of continues on there, just ending up building your character figure there and the palette assembly and just kind of how to hook that up, and that's basically it. I love that. They always put this congratulations at the end of the manual as well too. It's always fun. So man, these kits are a lot of fun. But anyways, so no stickers or decals or anything of any kind with this, unfortunately. It would have been cool to have some decals for this, but here's PC13 for some polycaps here in gray. So here is our A runner, and it's really giving me some Machine & Krieger vibes if you guys have ever built any Machine & Krieger kits. I mean, just the design in general kind of very similar to the Grosser Hound. I guess it just reminds me of that. But I mean, just looking at these parts as well, like the detail on the parts, everything just very reminiscent of that. So here's the other color version of our A runner. So we've got 2 of those, one in light blue, one in dark green. And the B runner here is going to be kind of the internal parts. So here's the dark green parts. So you would use like these dark green internal parts and the light blue armor and vice versa. So we do also have this B runner here in a light blue version as well. Runner D here is just some light gray mechanical parts here for around on the kit, including the palette pieces there with the Chubu logo and everything molded into that. So we've got 2 of this runner. They're both just in the same color. And then for our D runner as well, it's in this off-white kind of cream color. We've got 2 of these. Those are including just some white parts for the kit and then our character figure. So we'll have 2 of those included with this as well. So there we are, guys. It looks like it's going to be a really fun build, of course. So I can't wait to get this all built up, put together. Let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, so here's how the kit is going to look like all built up, and I'm just really shocked at how small this kit is. I shouldn't be surprised because it is 1/35 scale, and I should have known 1/35 scale is pretty small, but for some reason just ahead of building this kit in my mind, I wasn't imagining this kit to be quite as small as it is. It's very tiny, and so you got some really tiny little bits of parts on there. Quite a few seam lines as well too, so you definitely got your work cut out for you in just getting this kit ready for painting. But for being as tiny as it is, it is pretty highly detailed, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to paint and work on this kit, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, let's go ahead and check it out in closer detail here. But real quick, just to give you guys a sense of the size of this, here it is compared with a 120 scale Mechatro kit and of course a 144 scale HD Gundam kit, so you can see it's pretty small, packing a lot of detail into a very small space there. So like for example, all these little bar details that you got on there, all these separate tiny little pieces that you need to cut out and stick on there, so those are really nice little details added. The little headlight lamps on there, even the little Chubu license plate, and just this little thing going up here with the mirrors. And your sort of driver figure is going to sit down in there. I've gone ahead and just kind of very crudely glued together one of them, but the pose is not quite right. It would need some adjustments, but yeah, it's a very roughly cleaned up and very quickly glued together one of the figures. But of course you've got two of them, so you got one for each one if you prefer, but just a seated woman wearing a skirt, a little figure there to put on the driver's seat of this little guy. I just want to talk a little bit about the articulation of this as well too. The head is on a little ball joint, and you got a couple joints here in the neck as well too, to be able to ultimately move that up like that. The very phallic looking head there, and then all the way down like that. And no rotation here at the base of the neck, but basically just the head you can turn. There's just on a ball joint there at the end of that, so pretty fun little design there for that. The shoulder will rotate up and down up to there, and then it's just on a ball joint as well too, so you can kind of move that around and of course rotate that, and so you can get some nice posing out of that. We got a joint here at the elbow as well too. That will give you about a 90-degree bend. Ultimately not really all that much, but you got a little bit there. The hand as well can't be rotated unfortunately, but just can be bent up and down like that, and then your little hand can open up there, little claw can open up like that to hold on to stuff. So while we're here, one of the accessories is just this little box thing here, just with the Chubu logo. As this as well, you can open up like that, and again you've got two of these, so basically everything in this kit just you've got two of. And you've got a couple of these smaller connection pieces like this, where you could attach the two sets to each other like this, or to make a double pallet thing like it looks like he's pulling. And then on the inside of here, I'm guessing this is supposed to be molded. You got all these like little bumps that are sticking down like that. I'm guessing that's supposed to look like, or it's molded in a way that it's meant to look like wheels, sort of basically, for when this is pulling this along. You can use this longer piece here, so if you want to take two of them or just the one, can attach that onto there and attach it onto this sort of like basically trailer hitch here on the back of that. Pop that onto the back there, so as he's walking along you can just sort of pull this behind him, whether it's the one or, like I said, if you have two of them attached together, you can put something on top of there. You can put a 1/35 scale Mechatro kit on top of there, or whatever you might want. Now the reason why I was talking about this in regards to the hand is because I wanted to see if you can hold this in the hand as well too, or how well you can hold it in the hand. And it seems like it's going to be kind of a little bit loose, but you can always tighten that up, and that can just carry that in the hand as well too, something like that if you wanted to do that as well. Now as for the legs, or like the hip joint, there's kind of like a double ball joint there, so you got a couple points of articulation, or sort of a couple of points of movement there. The whole like side of the hip section there will kind of move out, and then the leg is just plugged on via ball joint, so you can get that to be a pretty wide stance there for those. Legs can come up, out to the side, and then of course just rotating around forward and back. Our reverse knee joint is just molded in place there, so that is not going to move, but you will have some movement down here at the ankles. The foot will move forward and back, and then a little bit side to side as well there too. Up underneath the feet, you got the Chubu name molded into the bottom of the feet there as well too, which is pretty fun. So some very nice detail all around, and some nice points of articulation. Obviously this is not going to be doing any action poses or anything like that. It's not really meant to do that, but you got some articulation in there that you can change the pose of this a little bit as you might see fit. Now as for the seam lines, like I said, there are a number of them here on the front of the leg and then around on the back of the leg as well too. You got seam lines there. Here on the back of this kind of main body chassis part there, you got a seam line right there, a seam line on the back of the armor there. And the same thing on the front, is that's just two halves put together there for the forearms. You got seam on the front and back of there. And then just like on the back side of this armor piece of the body, on the front side you got a little seam line there as well too. But if you have a pilot seated in here, I guess it'd be kind of like a little bit behind the pilot's head, maybe not quite as visible there. And on this blue part here on the front, a seam line all across the bottom, and you can see a little bit of that there just above the license plate here on the front as well too. But there you have it, guys. It's a relatively simple kit here, so there's not too much else to say about it other than that. Like I said, you got a little bit of articulation in there to come up with some cool poses, but ultimately it's going to be one that's just a very small, little delicate kit with some very small little pieces on there, but some nice detail. And if you take the time to paint it up, it's going to be really nice, I think. Just straight out of the box, I mean, it's fine just straight out of the box, even if you're not going to paint it. They do look nice, and it's nice that you get the two opposite colors too. It's pretty cool. You could mix and match the armor or mix the parts anyway. More if you wanted to give it to, you know, kind of more custom look, I guess, just straight out the box by just mixing and matching some of those parts is certainly something that you could do. But I think for the price, these are definitely worth checking out, especially because you get two of them in a box. It's not a bad deal. You know, you get two that you can play around with, maybe one that you do in one style and then paint the other one in a different style, something like that. It's a lot of fun. So it's definitely, I think, better to have two in the box compared to if you were just buying one in the box. Of course, would be cheaper, but for this type of kit, I think the two set works really nicely. It's not something that I would necessarily like to see like Bandai start doing with their HG Gunpla or anything like that. So let me know you guys' thoughts on the kit and the design down in the comment section below. What do you think about this or just the Mechatro kits in general? Are you guys enjoying them? Are you collecting them or not? I think they're pretty cool and a lot of fun, so let me know what you guys' thoughts are down in the comment section below. And any other further questions you guys might have, you can feel free to leave those down there as well too. We do sell these kits, of course, at USA Gundam Store, so check them out. And a big thank you to them as always for making it all possible. You guys can check the link and my coupon code that you guys can use there to save yourself 10%. Those are both down in the video description, down just below the video here, so check those out. Thank you guys as always so much for your support. Till next time, I hope you're all having a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.